Hello guys, welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be showing you some comics, I use the word very loosely, that I made when I was much younger. These ones were from when I was about 12 to 13 and these are from, I would say, 13 to 14. So that's my rough estimate of about when these are from, because these have slightly different styles. I can notice a difference, so yeah, this is definitely later. So we're going to go through these ones first. These are, as you can see, I have made these little books which I was kind of obsessed with making at this point, and I would show them off to all my friends and I was so excited about it. So they do have really happy memories associated with them, even if now I look back and the art kind of just makes me cringe, but yeah, I kind of have mixed feelings towards these as a result. So yeah, these first ones, as you can see, are called Wolfkin Yuki. This is very heavily based on / ripped off of Tokyo Mew Mew. If anyone's interested in how these are made, it's just plain paper and then I have stuck sticky back plastic over the top. My school used to make us cover our exercise books in sticky back plastic. I have no idea why. There was no point to it whatsoever. And then I would staple it together and do like an extra covering of masking tape over the top just so I didn't catch my fingers on the staples. And I was pretty pleased with this method, it has to be said. I thought they looked really good. Yeah, so this first one is called Wolfkin Yuki, which is not like, you know, like you hear the word kin on Tumblr and stuff now. It's not like that. I didn't really know what the word meant, to be honest. I just thought it sounded cool. And that was kind of the reasoning behind a lot of things that I wrote and drew at that stage. There was no sort of linguistic or logical sense to a lot of the stuff that I came up with. It was just what I thought sounded cool or looked cool. So let's get into the actual story of these, if it can be called a story. This is a Magical Girl series that I made, which, as I said, heavily inspired by Tokyo Mew Mew. So it was about these girls who got powers of various different animals. So we'll start by going through the first one, and first off we can see that I could not draw animals to save my life. And there's another thing that I did at this point in my life, was that I would not reference anything. Because when I was young, I believed that you should only ever make finished pieces. There was no point in sketchbooks, there was no point in doodles, no point in practice. And I just kind of assumed that as I worked, I would automatically improve, and that's not the case. You have to put the time and the effort in. And so I would just keep drawing these comics without referencing anything. And I know I could use the excuse of, well, I didn't have access to the internet, so I couldn't look up these things. And that does contribute to it, but at the same time, I did have some access to resources. I had like encyclopedias and stuff where I could look up pictures of these animals and various other things that I needed to draw. But I just didn't, and I was so horrifically lazy. And yeah, please don't be like me, because my younger self, the reason for my negative feelings towards a lot of my old artwork is not the artwork itself so much, it's remembering my own attitude towards my artwork. And if I could turn back the clock, I would put the time into practice, so I wouldn't have to spend that time catching up later on. So anyway, we'll go through this attempt at a story. So we've got a lot of like silly chibi expressions here, as you can see, which were copied directly out of different comics. And this character, I think, yeah, she's got a Japanese name because this story is set in Japan, even though I knew literally nothing about Japan, because I thought that I had to set my story in Japan because that would make it cool. I don't really know, to be honest. Maybe that was the reason. Maybe I was just being a massive weeb. I don't know. So there she is, falling over a fence, and then she gets chased by this terrifying creature. And oh no, I don't know what that pose is supposed to be. I mean, who actually does that when they're scared? This is Wolfkin. Oh no, Wolfkin slash. That's her attack, guys. It's very scary. Yeah, that's her transformation sequence. Feel free to add some music if you would like. I can see that was copied from a panel in Tokyo Mew Mew, because I tried to copy the hand and it looks like some horrific alien appendage. Nobody's head turns around in that direction. That's actually terrifying. This is where Lexus comes in. So Lexus was like the cat girl, Yuki was the wolf girl, and then Lexus is there to tell her about all the transforming stuff and what happens now and how you have to fight evil. I'm just looking at that one. I don't know what I was trying to draw. You can absolutely see that I could not draw hands to save my life. And my response to not being able to draw hands was to draw them in a pose that I found easier, even if it made no actual sense. So you would have like characters just with their hands like the wrong way round and stuff, just because I could draw a hand that way, even if it made no sense for the natural positioning of their body. I was always fascinated by the illustrations that you got separating each chapter in manga series, and so I would always look forward to doing these cute illustrations in between, and not gonna lie, I'm still looking forward to doing that with the Wired comic, just the chance to put some effort into a full illustration in the middle of the comic. And so I did enjoy doing those, but as you can see, there's some really horrific perspective going on there, and I don't know what Yuki's doing with her hands. Why is she just pointing at nothing? These hairstyles, I don't even know what I was attempting to go for. And you may notice there's no foreheads, because I had only just remembered to start drawing eyebrows on my characters, because I went through a phase of not drawing eyebrows. And then I added the eyebrows and I forgot to actually add space for them. So pretty much all my characters' heads went from eyes straight into hair. So yeah, you can see I still haven't quite got the hang of that. Also, I'm pretty impressed by the quality of this pen, to be honest, because this is like 15 years old and the pen hasn't faded. So I want to go back in time and find out what pen that was, because I'm pretty impressed. Because I have had some other artwork I've looked back on, some of my old stuff that's gone really brown and weird because the pen has faded so much. But yeah, as you can see here, pretty much the only tools I had were fine liners and colour pencils. And that's partly kind of lack of money for anything else, but also just my lack of inclination to try new things. I was attempting to draw some different poses. That one is okay-ish. That one is not remotely okay. Also, I wasn't using guidelines. I didn't do any sketches before I did the pen lines, I just drew straight in pen. And that was just partly rushing, because I used to draw these really, really quick. I didn't want to spend a lot of time on them. Yeah, I've talked a lot about my kind of unhealthy attitude towards my artwork as it used to be, but yeah, a lot of my feelings towards my work was that it had to be created quickly, but I also wanted it to be finished pieces, and so sometimes those things work and sometimes they don't. So I would rush a lot of necessary steps to get stuff done, and the end result was not amazing. So that's the characters all having their transformation sequence all together. So again, feel free to add some exciting music if you like. Some dramatic eye close-ups. Those eyes are actually taking over her face. Oh, now here's the bit that makes me cringe more than anything else, because a note from the mangaka, I don't know if I even said that right now, but yeah, I read in a manga that that was the word for manga artist, and so naturally I thought that was really cool for me to use that word. So here's a little drawing of me as a weird cat girl thing, and I wrote a little note thanking people for reading it, even though approximately 2 people read it, and then I did a little gallery of my characters. I think I was attempting chibis, but they've got like massive shoulders. They look like they've skipped leg day, and then, oh no. I copied the back of the Tokyo Pop manga. You know, they used to say, "Stop, this is the back of the book, don't spoil a good ending." And I have actually written, because this comic is official pseudo manga that doesn't come from Japan, you read it from right to left like they do in Japan. It's authentic and far more fun. I'm face palming so bad, you guys. I thought I was so cool. Oh, and I wrote prices on the back as well, which I also copied off Tokyo Pop manga. So yeah, I've written the US price and the UK price, which probably has gone up a lot because inflation. And I even drew a fake barcode. Official pseudo manga. Oh, poor self. Why did you do these things? I have much regret about this, but I'm hoping it'll get better. So let's look at the second one. So this is an attempt at drawing a cat with no reference whatsoever, which looks like an alien who has never seen a cat has drawn it. Then, I don't know what this attempt at text was, I've absolutely no idea. I think I saw my friend at school doing it, I was like, oh, that's cool, I gotta do that. You can probably guess I was obsessed with being cool, and I was not remotely cool. The irony being, it's not on this one, but on this one, this says UCI Manga, and basically UCI was the nickname of my friendship group at school, and it stood for Uncool Incorporated, because basically everyone hated us. We were not remotely cool. We were the weird people who would sit in the library at lunch drawing cartoons instead of actually socialising or going outside. So that was what I decided to name these, ironically, despite my absolute desperation to be cool. There's another wolf. It's slightly better than the last one, I think, and this is not a horrible sketch. There's a little tiny hand, which is kind of cute. Look at that telly. That shows the age. That's showing the age. Oh, there's one of those monsters, which have no variation in design whatsoever. And I could have at least, like, I had the opportunity to design some varied monsters, and I just made them all look like giant cats or dogs. So that's apparently a building. That's apparently a brick wall. That's what I'm assuming anyway, I think. Then she does her magical transformation sequence. She throws something flashy at it. Don't pick on the pathetic twerp, attack me. Oof, that was a burn. This is like her... I don't know why she's doing some sort of dance sequence while she says her weapon name. I don't know what this is. I mean, there's a part of me that likes how optimistic this story is, because it's about friendship. Like, there's several people they come across that they want to join their group, and they learn to get along even though they don't like each other at first, and they learn to work together, and it feels very optimistic, and I kind of like that, but there's a lot of things that were not executed very well, shall we say. Oh no, this is like a scene I wanted to draw that was set at the school, and I think I'd been reading Azumanga Daioh, I don't know if I said that right, but it was a manga series that I really liked, which was like a slice of life comedy, and it's also been made into an anime. It's hilarious, and I still love it. But yeah, I think there was a sports scene in it, and it made me want to write a sports scene with... Let me just make this clear, in case anyone can't already guess. I do not do sport, I do not generally do unnecessary movement. I was that person who would skip PE in school pretty much every time, and so I had no concept of how to write or draw a sports scene. So this is possibly the worst scene in the entire series, I think. And yeah, you can see here, there's poses that I didn't know how to draw, so I would just go for the closest thing, which didn't end up looking remotely feasible. Like, she's taking her t-shirt off, but she's just sticking her arms out straight in front of her, and the t-shirt is just lying on them. From here, I think we have some really, really, really awful attempts at drawing characters in motion. I was trying to draw foreshortening. Look at that. That was me trying to draw foreshortening, and then I was like, oh no, that's awful, I'm just going to cover it with loads of lines. There's some really long arms going on here. And then we also have this attempt, which she looks like she's just... How you throw a netball into a net is just by throwing your arms out in vague directions, apparently. There's some drama. Somebody has tripped someone up. They're cheating. And there's a lot of panels from exactly the same angle. You can see also there was no backgrounds. I did not do backgrounds at all. I made no attempt whatsoever at this point. And so there was no real context for where anything was happening. It was happening in a white void. And then we've got, this is when they become friends and they're working together, and they've got extremely long arms, which is slightly traumatising to look at. That's a bed, apparently. Okay, I think we can establish that I did not remotely have any idea how bodies worked, especially female bodies, because I don't even know where I was attempting to go with this. I'm not sure where anything is supposed to go. I can't work that out. I cannot work that out. It just looks like it was drawn by someone who's never seen a person before. Okay, so let's go on to the third one, which has a cute bunny on the front, and then whatever this hairstyle is supposed to be. And we have, I believe we have another transformation sequence somewhere here. Oh yeah, well no, we've got an eye close up, and then we've got this girl. So you can see she was basically ripped off of the monkey girl in Tokyo Mew Mew because I thought she was really cute. These attack names, I can't even, I just can't. Wow, look at this drama. Look how dramatic she is. You can tell she's evil because her eyes are in shadow. And she has one giant fang and no chin. And she's wrapped in an attempt at a cloak because I had no concept of drawing close folds. So I didn't try. Wow, look at that face. She is beauty, she is grace. She has a totally messed up face. I didn't draw close folds because I didn't know how to. So my response was just to ignore them and pretend that everyone's clothes kind of stuck out like tents. And in the next comic I have attempted it, which is something. So there's the new girl joining the class who is actually an evil person, and it took her one page to reveal her evil personality. So that whole getting into the school undercover as an exchange student, I'm not sure what the point of that was when she was under that cover for approximately 2 seconds and then reveals herself as a villain. Somehow, I'm not sure how this is possible, she was standing up, she attacked her, and somehow she's lying horizontally floating in the air. So that's some incredible powers there. Someone trying to draw a beach scene with no concept of how bodies actually work is quite something. So we have somebody has lost their top because of course, and there's an extremely long arm going on there, and then we have, because that's how you play the drums, and a nice dramatic shot there. So that's everyone, and then I think that's it? Yes. Okay, so that was everything for Wolfkin Yuki. If I did any more, it has never made it into book form. So yeah, those were the ones that I did when I was possibly 12 or 13. So yeah, heavily influenced by Tokyo Mew Mew. I'm trying to think what else I was reading at the time. I was reading, does anyone remember Cyber Idol Mink? I was obsessed with those for a while. I think the artist did another series, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah, basically Magical Girl series were my jam at the time. Oh, Cardcaptor Sakura, how could I forget that? So yeah, I was really fixated on Magical Girl stuff for a while. But yeah, that's kind of the culmination of that obsession. So then next we move on to this one, which is called Kayushi Destiny. I'm going to presume that's how I was pronouncing it. So you can probably guess, but again, these were heavily based on something that already existed. And in this case, it was Dot Hack, which is, for anyone who isn't familiar with it, it's a series which was set inside a video game. It was like a multimedia online roleplay game. And there was loads of different sort of series within a series. It was a massive franchise. It had games, manga, anime series. Do you know what? A little while back I managed to find the Dot Hack Legend of the Twilight DVDs on eBay brand new for like £5 each. I was stoked. But anyway, I'm getting totally off topic. But yeah, I still love Dot Hack, and there is a part of me that wants to reinvent these characters. Obviously not to use for anything because the concept is so heavily ripped off of Dot Hack. But I would love to redesign these characters just for fun and maybe make a video of it, because now, redesigning game characters, I would approach this totally differently. So yeah, let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing something like that, because I'd be really excited to give that a try. So yeah, these are the main characters, and I actually can't remember now. I was just going to tell you the names and I already can't remember them. Missouri, Mia, and this is Taj. So my YouTube Artist Collective piece a little while back for the Masquerade Ball theme, you may remember me drawing a character called Taj. Taj has appeared in so many different incarnations, it's actually kind of ridiculous. So this is the first ever Taj, I think. No, it wasn't. I'm lying. I think the first ever Taj was in the first ever version of Curse Legacy, which I mentioned in my last video about Nico. So yeah, Nico's original incarnation was in Curse Legacy. Taj was also in it. And then when I stopped writing Curse Legacy, I moved Taj into this Kayushi Destiny thing. And then after that, Taj got moved back into another version of Curse Legacy, and then now he is in Breakwater. So Taj has travelled through a lot of different dimensions, had a lot of different variations. But yeah, this was an early version of Taj. This is Missouri, and this is Mia. I think, again, this was set in Japan, just because I was a massive weeb. That's about the only explanation I have for that. We have some cute little chibis in the front here. They're kind of sweet, kind of like them. I went through a phase of using this writing for absolutely everything. Here are the characters being introduced to the game. I don't know what Kayushi Destiny means, just in case anyone's wondering. Obviously I know what Destiny means, but Kayushi is just, again, it's a thing. I thought it sounded cool, I just came up with it on the spot. I have no idea if it actually means something. Yep. So I couldn't like look up words to see if they already existed and meant something because I had no internet, and so I just thought it's fine, it's cool. So yeah, anyway, this is the characters being introduced to the game, or rather Mia is introducing Missouri to the game. The irony being, I was trying to write a story about an online RPG when I didn't have internet access and I had never used the internet. So I didn't really have any context of how it worked, and I was just kind of trying to figure it out from reading.hack. So that was my wrist, sorry, I'm really unhealthy. Yeah, so basically all of this context in here is from .hack. So yeah, this is them meeting another character called Carrie, I think it was? Yeah. Again, no backgrounds, so I basically just denoted where the characters were going from them just randomly shouting the names of locations at each other. Okay, now we have a nice dramatic close-up of Taj saying, "I'm the only wolf around here. Isn't he cool? Isn't he cool and badass? Don't you wish you were Taj?" I know I did. Oh no, that was like copied from a manga panel. I thought it looked really cool because they're drawn like these dramatic eyes, but when I tried to copy them it didn't look quite the same. What are these legs? What are these legs? What is this arm? And this is 6 panels of the same character because I didn't draw backgrounds. There was no other way to indicate what was happening in the scene, and I didn't use anything else apart from the characters themselves, so everything was very, very heavily character based. I never used the environment to denote a theme or a mood or anything like that, which is something that I've changed a lot now in my artwork. And okay, so I'm not amazing at drawing backgrounds now, but I am making an effort, whereas then I just didn't even try. So basically every panel was a character. There was nothing, I've just realised that now, that yeah, basically every single panel in these comics is just characters. There is nothing else to indicate what is happening in the background or to indicate a mood or a theme or something else that the reader is supposed to notice. So yeah, she's after Taj because he's a type of character class that was supposed to have been deleted because someone who was playing that character class, yeah, here it is, she died in real life, again, like the whole .hack thing. So they banned the whole character class, and Taj is like the last one, and they want to destroy him. And here he's being captured. I've no idea why I had this fixation with drawing these characters with these feet that look like furry boots. So that's something I would definitely revise if I decided to redesign these characters. Oh, here we have, I think, the ghost in the game that like takes people's souls. Yep, you can tell she's evil because her eyes are shadowed out. And here's Taj. This was supposed to be me indicating his vulnerability by the fact that Ayuma is wearing his weird cloak skirt thing, and this ghost girl is wearing his gloves, and he's feeling very frightened and vulnerable and has a concerned expression. So yeah, I was trying to really express how frightened and alone he was in that one. And then we've got some Ghibli-esque crying, even though I had never seen a Studio Ghibli film at that point. And then Taj gets captured, and we've got some extremely long arms going on, and a attempt at drawing a chain. And then there were bits I kept forgetting to draw in this scene, so there's some notes somewhere that say she took the gloves off, she put the gloves back on, because I just kept forgetting to draw the things. Flashback, I actually had to label it, because there was no indication of anything being a flashback. Look at that computer, high-end technology. Look, he grabbed the staff as he ran past because I forgot to actually draw the transition between those two scenes. Then we have some chibi slapping. Chibi slapping is a thing. Some angry chibs. Oh, look at that building. You know, I said I didn't draw backgrounds? Well, check this out. Check this out. That's a background and a half. And here's a nice little group shot. She looks very wonky. I'm not sure why the whole drawing looks like she's kind of just tilted at an angle. These weapons are really weird, and like nothing lines up. I hadn't drawn guidelines or anything. She took her cloak off. I just kept forgetting to draw things, and then I was like, quick, make a note. Just pretend that the reader wasn't paying attention. And then we have Taj, who really didn't like hugs. You've got to soften up a bit, Taj, let people hug you. Please don't cry, just pat him on the head like a dog, that's cool. Oh, and I think this was a panel, yeah, I totally copied this whole bit here from .hack. These dramatic close-ups of the characters being told that they're going to be deleted and realising how much they're going to lose His eyes are really scaring me in that one. Shadow Master Power Release. Is she actually a magical girl? Maybe she's secretly a magical girl. Okay, that was my stomach. I'm gonna have lunch in a minute. And there's Taj as an angel because his character got deleted. That's quite sweet. And then this is the characters in real life. Oh, where's the bit that, there we go. There's a bit that I wrote, this panel took half an hour to draw because I thought that was like a huge time investment. I honestly thought that it was pretty impressive to spend half an hour on one panel because I was that lazy. And then I made a point of making a note about it as well here. Anyway, did you like panel 4 of page 46? It took me half an hour. Imagine if I said that now about your page 4. They'd be like, yeah, we can tell. And then we have, yeah, that's the characters meeting in real life. And I still kind of like the concept of showing them, but not showing them to not kind of reveal their true identities. I love the idea of characters having two alternate versions of themselves, even to this day. I love the concept of having parallel real life and game self, and I still want to play around with that. So like I said, even if I don't like make it into a proper story, I do really want to play around with designing these characters again and see what I would do now. So yeah, that's the other characters who were in the game outside of it. And then this double page, you know what, I actually quite like this picture. I don't know what it is about it, but that picture of Taj there, there's something about it I like. It's got kind of a nice sense of movement, he's got a nice smile. I look at this and I feel quite fond of it in a way. They're all kind of wonky, but like I said, I do remember falling in love with storytelling while I worked on these and while I worked on my other projects, and it's that love of storytelling has fortunately never left me. If anything, it's grown. Whatever motivates you to start, I think is a good thing. So here's another of my notices to tell people to read the right way. Oh no, I'd even written sayonara for now, manga fans. That part just gets me. I just don't know. And then we have volume 2. So there's little chibis of Kari and Ayumu at the front. It's 100% British manga. Then we've got little character intros, which I drew the wrong way round because I obviously wasn't concentrating. We have a little dramatic shot. I messed up someone's name there, clearly. That was nice and subtle. Then we've got this. They're all cheerfully jumping in the air. Oh, there's an attempt to drawing a background. It's something. It's a gate. It's some statues. And it has no creepy atmosphere whatsoever. I had to explain that the character found it creepy to indicate that it was creepy. Hello. It's just a random character with freaky eyes just drifting into the middle of the panel. Some more strange expressions. This weird little character, I honestly do not know why he was added, because as far as I can tell he doesn't add anything to the story. He's turned into like a weird furry werewolf thing. And then they're at school and everyone has sailor collars because I thought that was really cute. There's their real life selves, and here they are getting thrown into a vortex going somewhere. She's buying some healing potions, which is a lot more than can be said for me, because now I don't play online RPGs, but I play D&D and I never buy health potions, mainly because I'm broke, secondly because I'm a barbarian, so I'm just like, I don't need it, so nobody else will, it's fine. This is not the case. Here's some excited characters about treasure and fighting things. These text panels are getting really big. Totally forgot to mention, but you can see there was no real variation in panel size, so I didn't go for, like, whereas now I frequently like do a diagonal line for my panels or put things outside of the panel edge. I'm still learning, it's a huge learning process doing a comic, but now I really do vary my panel sizes, whereas here it was just squares, lots of squares, pretty much the same amount of panels on every page, and nothing sort of expanding outside the edges of those panels. And then we have the point where they get pulled into a portal to go and save Kayushi from whatever evil is threatening it, and they get trapped inside the game again. And then that's the email from Kari where she discovered everyone had gone. Oh, and then some bonus pages. So this is the last I did of this series. So unless I have any more pages floating around somewhere in the attic. But yeah, this is a picture of me, which does vary quite a bit from my earlier drawings of myself. Let me just do a quick little comparison. I don't draw myself that much anymore. So that's my comparison between my drawings of myself between the two series. So you can kind of see the stylistic change there. So I'm pretty pleased to see the progression, even if a lot of aspects of the story still just don't work. I'm quite pleased to see that I was actually making an attempt with my artwork. So here we have real life Missouri and game character Missouri, some attempts at facial expressions and her weapon. We've got real life Mia and her character with this sword that she would never be able to lift, but she's a game character so it doesn't matter. And then we have real life Taj and game character Taj. His real life self actually has more outlandish hair than his game self, which is interesting. And then I don't know what that pose is meant to be. That's very strange. Then we have Kari, or Cory, or however I'm pronouncing it. For some reason she's got really long arms. And then Kat, whose hair I really could not draw because I had no practice in drawing ponytails, and I guess I didn't do any studies because here I believe I still wasn't doing any reference work. So yeah, all the weapons look the same because I never sort of considered how to vary them and how to add to the characters' personalities via their weapons or other items that they carry. So a lot of this stuff I wasn't taking into consideration aspects of the character's physical design that would indicate their personality, and again that's something that I have changed a lot in my work. So a lot of things were just drawn because they looked cool, either that or because they were easy for me to draw, and I had a horrible habit of just picking things that were easy for me to draw and skipping the things that I didn't know how to. So yeah, that's why there's a lot of stuff here that looks very, very similar in design. And then we have their school uniforms, which for some reason the boys' school uniform had a sailor collar as well, just because I thought it was cute, even though that doesn't really tend to happen. Oh, and then the end of the book notice. So yeah, oh yeah, and you can see the blurb. That's "They must return to the place that almost killed them." Some dramatic text on the back there, and I've even given an age rating, youth, age 7+, because again that was the Tokyo Pop rating, and I was basically copying everything off of Tokyo Pop. So that is everything that I've got for those. As of now, I haven't found anything else. This was just all the stuff that I found while I was doing a clear out of the attic, and I just had that debate where I was like, either I can put these away somewhere or destroy them and pretend they never existed, or I can show them off to the internet and utterly humiliate myself. So I decided naturally to go for the latter, and I have much regret, but I've done it now, so there we go. But yeah, it's really interesting to see my progression, because these were done when I was 12 to 14, I'm now 27. Not only my artwork itself has changed, but my attitude to my artwork has changed so much, and that does make me happy. I am pleased with that progression. I'm pleased with even this very small progression you can see between these two series, and I think even though it is very disappointing to see how long it took me to learn that I should actually put an effort into referencing and into trying new things and drawing backgrounds, I was making some sort of attempt in my own way into trying some different things. So even though these were entirely character based and I didn't really know of or consider any other sort of comic techniques that I could use to further the story, I still find something in here that I enjoy looking at, because it reminds me of a really good time in my life. I was really enjoying my artwork. It just had to get to the point where I was enjoying and learning at the same time, because unfortunately at that point those two things were quite separate. So yeah, it's really interesting to look back. I definitely want to redesign some of these characters, so I hope you guys will look forward to seeing that. And if you have any feedback about what I could do and play around with the idea, please do let me know. I really hope you enjoyed watching these. If I find any more artwork from that time, I might show you if it's not too embarrassing. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed looking at these. I really appreciate you stopping by to check this video out as always. Thank you for your continued support, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!